Picture this. The wind howls as icy waves crash against the wooden hull of a longship. The crew, clad in furs and iron, stare ahead with determined eyes. They are the Vikings, warriors, explorers, traders, and settlers, whose stories have echoed through the ages, filling our imagination with tales of fierce battles, epic journeys, and legendary sagas. But who were they really? Today, we're diving into the entire history of the Vikings, a saga that spans centuries, from the fjords of Scandinavia to the far reaches of the known world. Our journey begins in the cold, rugged landscapes of Scandinavia, where the story of the Vikings takes root. By the late 8th century, the Norse people, who would later become known as Vikings, were living in what is today Norway, Sweden, and Denmark. These were hardworking farmers, fishermen, and craftsmen, but life in this harsh environment wasn't easy. Land was scarce, and the growing population pushed many to seek new opportunities beyond the horizon. But why did these Norsemen suddenly transform into the fearsome Vikings we know from history? The answer lies in a mix of necessity and opportunity. With limited resources and growing rivalries at home, the Norse turned to the seas, using their unparalleled shipbuilding skills to embark on raids and exploration. Imagine the year 793 AD, a date that would be seared into the memory of medieval Europe. The place? Lindisfarne, a peaceful monastery off the coast of England. Without warning, Viking longships appear on the horizon. The monks, unaware of the impending danger, go about their daily prayers. Suddenly, the tranquility is shattered as the Vikings storm ashore, plundering the monastery and leaving a trail of destruction in their wake. This raid marked the beginning of what we now call the Viking Age, a period that would last nearly 300 years. But the Vikings were more than just raiders. They were explorers, traders, and settlers. Their longships, the most advanced vessels of their time, allowed them to travel vast distances, reaching as far as North America in the west and the Byzantine Empire in the east. Beyond their fearsome reputation as raiders, the Vikings were also skilled traders and explorers. They established trade routes that connected Scandinavia to distant lands, from the icy waters of the North Atlantic to the sun-baked bazaars of Constantinople, known to the Vikings as Miklagard, the Great City. Viking merchants traded everything from furs and walrus ivory to amber and slaves. Their voyages took them down the rivers of Eastern Europe, where they founded cities like Kiev and Novgorod, laying the foundations for what would become Russia. They even served as elite guards for the Byzantine emperors, known as the Varangian Guard, a testament to their prowess and the respect they commanded far from home. But the Vikings didn't just raid and trade, they also settled new lands. In the 9th and 10th centuries, they began establishing colonies in the North Atlantic. They settled in Iceland, turning the island into a thriving Norse community. From there, they pushed even further, reaching Greenland and eventually, around the year 1000, Vinland, the mysterious land we now believe to be part of North America. These settlements weren't just temporary outposts. In Greenland, the Vikings built farms, raised livestock, and adapted to the harsh conditions. The settlement of Vinland, though short-lived, shows the incredible reach of Viking exploration, a journey that took them across the treacherous North Atlantic long before Columbus set sail. All stories have an end, and so too did the Viking Age. By the mid-11th century, the Norse way of life was changing. Christianity had spread throughout Scandinavia, replacing the old Norse gods. The once loose networks of Viking chieftains were giving way to centralized kingdoms, and the era of large-scale raids was coming to a close. The Battle of Stamford Bridge in 1066 is often seen as the last stand of the Vikings. King Harald Hardrada of Norway, one of the most famous Viking leaders, led an invasion of England, but his forces were defeated by King Harold Godwinson's army. Though the Viking spirit lived on, the days of Viking raids and conquests were over, but the legacy of the Vikings endures. They left an indelible mark on the lands they touched, from the British Isles to Russia, and their influence can still be seen in place names, language, and even modern culture. The Vikings were more than just warriors. They were a people of incredible resilience, adaptability, and ambition. Their stories have been passed down through the ages, inspiring countless books, movies, and TV shows. But beyond the myths and legends, the real history of the Vikings is a tale of exploration, trade, and cultural exchange that helped shape the world we live in today. As we reflect on the entire history of the Vikings, from their humble beginnings in the Scandinavian fjords to their far-reaching explorations, we see a people who were driven by a desire for adventure, wealth, and new horizons. And in that spirit, the Vikings will forever remain a symbol of the human drive to explore the unknown. Thank you for joining us on this epic journey through the history of the Vikings. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more captivating historical adventures. Until next time, may your own quests be just as legendary.